have to start spending money on sentries to protect entrances toward their jungle. They already do kind of have a couple there, but yeah, now you know Shadowblade is done, and that, like I said, Charlie's just gonna have to play a little bit more careful every single time inside of his mind what he wants to farm.
Look how quick FN's playing. Immediately as Shadowblade is looking for the next kill. TP's up top. He's checking out the situation. He'll lead in onto Seneko. Saberlight's going to pop the Rolling Thunder. In fact, no, he's second guessing it. Knows that Seneko cannot be saved. So he'll keep his ultimate to himself. I say Seneko can't. He's going to try for the deny. Won't work. Poison's on him. Save pops it. And they bring down Seneko on the top lane.
FN knows he's king. He's next like 10 plus minutes or so. He's got nothing really to be concerned about. He can just lead the situations. And they have the lanes in a good spot. DM also getting close to that secondary initiation tool for them.
Yeah, and FM, I mean, but yeah, nothing can kill him, especially when he has the BKB done on top of this Shadowblade. The only hero that's going to be able to have any sort of physical offering is the Terrorblade, and obviously you're still trying to hit a Dragon Knight that's sitting on 21 armor at the moment.
And it's scary to play.
Target to take.
It's scary to be the TB in a lot of these situations too, because if you get hit by almost anything, there's a lot of burst damage like we were mentioning on Prodigy. There's a lot of different ways to control him as well, so he's got to be careful for the Centaur, the DK, even a silence that can come in from the Death Prophet. All these different things can just mess with your TB early on, because he needs a lot more time. So do they entirely for their entire draft to come together. But VP.P is not going to give him that time. They're on the hunt for Charlie.
They are. Charlie is heading back to pick up his own bounty. They do have the sentry down, so they'll see FN. FN, can he still get in range for the Dragon Tail opening? He closes the gap. The Stampede helps out, moves DM in. There's the follow-up hoof stomp. Well, he's actually going to save it for now. Nicely worked there with the silence to get maximum amount of disable onto the Terrorblade. Very cleanly done there from VP.P. As now with the remainder of the Exorcism, they can move back towards the lane, see if they can get some pressure onto the towers. Already saves, starting to move in on the bottom. Taking some illusions for himself, so he's got a bit of extra push.
It looks like he kind of... Did he like miss the coil on the edge? Because he only caught the Death Prophet instead of the Centaur, which would have been the bigger target from it. But either way, TB does go down. And top, again, Epileptic Kid is able to find Saberlight. But will he go down? He's pretty...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Plays across the brooch.
Able to get out with the Dukes, just trying to get some semblance of items online. He's got the urn on his way out. Of course, that urn is going to require them to find kills, and that is something that NRP have struggled with so far.
He needs to get that Spirit Vessel online. Oh, it's such a good Spirit Vessel game. I think every game is a good Spirit Vessel game now, but versus DP, Oracle, DK, Centaur, yeah. Very good argument. Supreme trying desperately to get their initiation tool. He's 150 or so gold away from that Blink Dagger. Which will at least let him get to that backline. That SD and the Oracle, they can be pretty fragile when he does have the Blink, if they can actually have the follow-up with Saberlight after the puck coil in the back. But it's killing that front line that's really going to be the issue for NIP.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Let's see what sort of a move they can make. I mean, Epileptic Kid, as strong as he is, he's just bolting up and taking the outpost on his own. He's not worried about any interruption from NIP.
That is some blind. That is some straight up confidence, right? That's like the bluff.
He's alone. Yeah.
That's the bluff too. You're like, yeah, they're behind me. You don't know.
No vision as well there from VP.P inside the jungle of NIP. They're just they know that they're that strong right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
What's down? They will know that Epic Kid is up here. And he's still, again, he's playing entirely on the opposite half of his map, but now he's out of there. So that maybe small opportunity for NIP to maybe catch him alone has gone.
This sneaky ward right now by Prodigy, this did not get taken out, and they see Charlie farming.
There's the initiation. More than enough burst to take down the Terrorblade once again.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That is I haven't seen that ward much.
Dire's structures.
Just to be able to watch the Ancients, they know that Terrorblade's main farming tool is going to be playing around that Ancient area. Very nice ward being set up there. And cool way they set up that smoke too. If you saw, they smoked and instantly started running bottom while Epileptic Kid was still just top, like bluffing pretty much. And then he's able to TP bottom, putting himself in like the safest position of the map. That was really interesting approach to the way they did that smoke. I loved it.
And then I think they're trying to take this tier 1 top, but VP.P aren't going to let this go unnoticed. You've got TPs coming in, VP.P ready to push them off. And the thing is as well, you know, without the Terrorblade, it's only really the Jakira that's doing any sort of push damage to the towers. Other than that, it's a very slow siege from NIP's lineup when Terrorblade's not around.
Yeah, and these heroes, like we were mentioning, how the NIP lineup, they need time. The Terrorblade needs time to be able to fight and everything too. But when you're giving this much time, and VP.PRODIGY is still getting that much more out of the map than you are, these two big cores, they're gonna get BKBs pretty soon. Like DK and Death probably with a BKB. NIP's draft does no damage beside the Terrorblade at that point. They can just kind of walk away too because they have Stampede and BKB. So they can either get on top of the TV or they can just kind of walk away from him and just avoid all of the disable that comes up from the Puck and the Jakiro.
They need these sort of smoke ganks to work. They've got to find something with this NIP.
They really do.
It's been dispelled on Supreme. FN came close, and Supreme, he's still trying to hunt. But now if you make a move, VPP are going to be aware they're sticking together on this top half of the Radiant side.
Tower is under attack.
See what sort of a relief there will be from the backup of NIP. Supreme, he's been spotted. He's already backing out. Cannot get on top of any of the members that they needed to. VPP are more than fine. Epi Kid continues to have all the space in the world up top as he plays there alone, soaking in an insane amount of XP as well. This TP getting very, very big.
And they're playing around each other very nicely. They're just sticking around those two cores until they do get that BKB, which they're both going to get at the exact same time. These saves playing right near them. You see Save is also... God, there's two saves and there's a player named Saved. Jeez. Save playing near DM in the mid lane with the Shadow Demon.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sneko and Saberlight.
Radiant's
everyone on NLP just has to keep their distance anytime that there's the opportunity for a disruption setup. It's very easy for the rest of VPP to follow up with the Stampede to close the gap. In top lane, tier 2, it goes down. They continue to take these objectives away from NIP whilst NIP are just struggling to find some sort of play. They'll go for another smoke NIP. Again, they really need to make these work.
Before the BKBs. They have to catch them before these two BKBs come out, and FN's like 50 gold away. Epileptic Kid is also about 200 gold away from that too. They're about to be picking them up, NIP. This could be a really good timing for them if they can actually catch them before it comes out on the courier.
Let's see if they can get DM. DM's going to step forward. They'll lead in. Have they got the burst for him? They bring him down to half HP. The setup there, the telekinesis into Rolling Thunder. Ice Path follow-up. They're locking him down. Another bounce by. They'll get the kill. They will manage to find DM.
Okay, it's not a kill that really leads into too much right now, though. Let's see if they can turn it into anything. Charlie's trying to show his face in mid. The BKBs are now delivered on the courier. Epileptic Kid is going to show himself up front. And they're actually stepping back.
They've got the disruption set up on a Charlie. BKB pops, so they get immediately on top of the Terrorblade with the silence. He's able to dodge the Who Stomp. We'll get the Sunder off. It's a sweet play, but it's not cute enough. Use the Terrorblade. VPP are going to try and chase on for more. The jump over there from Supreme. He's trying to escape. There's the chase with the Siphon. He's been silenced. Ice Path will block Epileptic Kid off. So Supreme will... And no hesitation there from VPP. They're playing so quick this game. The buyback into an instant kill onto the Terrorblade, turning themselves into Roche as well. NIP, can they do anything to stop this? The Ghost will finish, so VPP don't have the quickest of Roche-taking abilities now, and in fact, VPP, they don't care about Roche. They're just going to look to move in for kills once again. They're on top of Era, inside the jungle. Epic Kid chasing him down with the Siphon. FN closing the gap with that Shadow Blade. Era, he does manage to kind of get the lift off the poison. Only the one stack, so Era will manage to live on 20 HP. He will get out of there.
Let's go. Raindrop saved him again. Or almost saved him, maybe, but yeah, gets away. Yeah. Exorcism stolen, though, and they did force him to pop it, so now they're gonna, at least there's no exorcism on. At least something small there for VPP as they're starting to back up. Supreme trying to catch Shine.
He's dropped a Dream Coil onto the solo Oracle.
He's got a lot of heals running.
There's not going to be any follow-up, and now he's sort of baited the rest of his team in error after such a great escape up top. Is going to be the first to fall in this mid-lane engagement. Saberlight going with the Rolling Thunder, trying to chase down DM. Turns back over towards the two supports. They have caught both the SD and the Oracle in a perfect position as they do manage to kill off Ina. Save, he's falling low, they'll take him out as well. Both supports are done. The NIP have managed to eliminate the backlines, but now with the silence from Epi Kid, the cores of VPP, they're ready to fight on without their supports. They jump in, take Supreme, they'll get the Who Stomp and the Stampede away. Saberlight still trying to poke with the Swashbuckle, but there's no more. But NIP, I mean, they did find a brilliant way to take that fight. That angle in the river with the Rolling Thunder catching both supports next to each other.
VPP is thinking about re-engaging FN.
Now gonna miss the Swashbuckle. Ooh, nice blink from Saberlight, able to juke out that Who Stomp from DM.
Oh, and NIP still can't actually take the tower. I think that's what they've really been wanting to do all this time, trying to match VP.PRODIGY's fight in the mid to be able to take it, but they just still can't take count these cores. Like, they got the 2 supports, which was fantastic, but then you just see these 2 tanky cores just weaving inside all of it just because of how much health they have. Like 2,000 HP DK with that BKB with all that immunity just holds his ground, and Charlie has to be careful. He can just get reinitiated on very easily.
Yeah, he's having to go for this man to BKB build.
Has to.
He just doesn't have the supports that save him, as we've said. You know, with this Jakiro and Rubik, there's no one that's going to be able to offer any sort of way of removing the Terrorblade from the fight if he does get initiated on. So he has to go for this safe build.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And obviously, does mean that it will limit the damage output, something that they do struggle with. Through these BKBs, it means, you know, the NRP's got to keep this game going for at least another item or 2 on the Terrorblade after that BKB to really have a chance of turning this one.
Absolutely. He's still going to need quite a bit more time, but they are looking to still play a bit aggressively here around Charlie. He doesn't have his meta available, but they're actually setting themselves all down bottom around their outpost. They want to try to get something.
See if they can find him. Already,
just quick response by VP. They're already setting up Epileptica, just so he's running in. He knows he has nothing to fear when he plays like this. The Oracle's pretty close behind. They're actually going to get the jump, and that is a very, very dead puck in a matter of seconds.
And they can turn this into kind of whatever they want, whether it be more kills or a tier 2 tower. They've got the Exorcism available. Elder Dragon forms back in 5 seconds for FN. Charlie is hiding in the trees at the moment. We'll see if they do check it out and see if he's still around, but looks like they won't fall suspicious to him. If he sends that illusion out, though, which he will do so.
He sent the illusions out.
They're going to know that he's here, and
oh my god, that was close.
I mean, that was a risky play and a half from Charlie. He knew they were around, and he sends that illusion out. I mean, obviously, it works for him. He does manage to escape, but he was taking some risks there.
I mean, that's the, you know, the high risk, very low reward player. But at least he gets away with it.
Got the creep, you know.
Got the creep. And NIP, they're on the chase here forward, but that's a tanky center on the front line. And they're actually gonna go forward.
DM's ready for some revenge. Jumps in, says, "How dare you try and have a look at me?" Gets in with a hoof stomp, and suddenly Saberlight is eliminated out of the game. Epikid ready to chase on Ferreira too. He's silenced. They've got the rundown, and with the damage from the Exorcism, this Rubik will melt. Both heroes gone.
And look at FN, he wants more. He's still shadow bladed up. He's gonna see Seneko, and that's an easy target for him.
Yeah, Seneko. He's gonna be able to turn with the ice path.
Oh?
He's gonna be able to live with that. Unless Save's able to close the gap on him, but doesn't look like it. Seneko will survive. And they don't actually have the creeps too far forward on the mid. Charlie's doing a good job of cutting them with the illusions, so before the Exorcism ends, they're not actually going to be able to get towards that tier 2 tower.
But still, it's VP just dictating the pace, and they're just they're keeping everything going for themselves. Like, they're keeping all the lanes pushed in onto NIP's side, and NIP, they're not gaining any ground. They're just kind of trapped. Now with BKB, this could be an option here. Terrorblade, BKB, level 15 as well.
Want to try and take a fight around this pit so they can turn a metamorphosis from kills into a Roche objective.
Oh, Saberlight! Oh, he blinked into the ledge and he bounces backwards while going for the Oracle. Now they know that the fight is going to be right there because TB popped the meta. So let's see what VP chooses to do with that information. They're pushing in the 2 side lanes, but then they can look to fight pretty soon.
I think NLP's going to try and force Roche with this meta. They're going to head straight into the pit.
It's scary. It's scanned right away.
I mean, can they do it quick enough? They do it. I said there's no Exorcism. There is a Dragon Form though. NIP trying to get a jump outside the base. They've dropped the coil on Ina. They do manage to eliminate the Oracle. The Oracle is gone. FN turns over towards the Rubik. The damage from this Elder Dragon Form proving to be a little too much. But Charlie, he's popping the BKB. He's panicking. Who's he going to hit? He turns over towards Save. Save has been silenced. They take down the ST. FN with the remainder of his BKB is trying to finish off Saberlight. Will find him as the Pango goes down. Charlie on the retreat now as BKB's worn off. He's got to run. Epikid won't be able to find the grab on him. So Charlie will survive. It's a 2 for 2 on the trade. Supreme with a quick jump in. He's got to be careful about playing around this DP in case Epikid catches him with the Yule's silence. It won't be the case. Supreme is out.
But again, it's just the supports who die. I feel like it's like always going to be the case in this game for NIP, where they're able to get these supports, but yeah, picking off the two cores is just so damn difficult. And Saberlight, he keeps just getting, like, he's leading the charge, but not getting the best like situations where he gets his ultimate off either, or he just dies, gets returned on. And now there's an exorcism of, and NIP, there's no way they can contest this.
Not at all, unless Supreme wants to go for some wild sort of jump in. Which he may do so. He's outside, up on the high ground. He's been silenced. He's got the blink. We'll get away. We want to quickly get themselves back into the pit VPP so they can finish this one off. Saberlight's going to try for it though. Rolling Thunder comes down. He's going to continue to mess with them. We'll jump in, but he misses everybody. Doesn't connect on anyone there with that initiation. Now they stun onto Seneko. They'll take out the Jakira, now ready to chase for more. False Promise keeps VPP's Epic Kit safe. They'll go back towards the pit. Buyback from Seneko comes in. The Ghosts have finished, so they don't have the quickest way of finishing.
20 on meta. So now they are, yeah, no Rolling Thunder, but 20 on the meta, and that is going to scare VP a little bit to back up here. Everything else is available soon, though. Dragon Knight does have his form and a full Mjolnir finished. They're actually going to find DM.
They do. There's the lead in. See if they can finish him off. DM's got the Stampede, though. It's Pop. Charlie pops the BKB. 1 second until meta. He's got it, but he doesn't want to commit for this. They've lost the Rubik. Epic Kit keeping himself locked down onto Snako. Snako will be able to turn with the Yules. The rest of VPP is still keeping themselves held back by Roche. Saberlight cuts across the Thunder. Brings Epic Kit low. The Dream Core. He gets over save. He's just disruption. Buying them time to kill off the Tinted.
Oh my god.
The VP alive. Save with a clutch disruption will save the Death Prophet and allow VPP to ensure that this again is another team fight victory for themselves. Triple kill for FN, 4 dead on NIP.
What a save by Save. It's like, holy moly, he dropped so low. They almost were able to get the kill, but again, VPP are just displaying like perfect coordination with the way that they're playing their draft. These 3 tanky frontliners over and over again, eating the brunt of the force, allowing these supports to get their spells off in majority of the situations. And Charlie immediately, at the start of the fight, he just has to back off and run away in all these situations because the SD just puts a ult on him, and it gets very scary for a Terrorblade in the game like that.
Yeah. And those sort of fights as well, Charlie, you can see, he's popping the BKB. He doesn't want to use the meta. He knows it's going to be a bad fight, but he has to, because otherwise, what else is he going to do? Is he going to save it for the defense when his teammates are dead? I mean, obviously he uses it. It still doesn't make a difference, and that's when you know that there really is a problem now for NIP. They are that far behind that there just seems very few ways that their lineup can play their way out of this game against VPP with the 13k lead they have, 25-10, and the items that pretty much all the heroes on VPP have right now.
Yeah, and look, FN's actually stalking Supreme already bottom. He's on top of him, and that's a kill. Oof.
I mean, FN's been styling this whole game from the laning stage to the early movements.
13,
the objective taking 13. Yeah. Yeah, you look over at Supreme, he's struggled heavily, 2-4-7. It was that tough matchup mid. FM really did make sure that Supreme didn't get much at all out of the lane, and it's made the Puck's game very hard to play from then on.
Across the board, they've just played so well. What, 0 death, Death Prophet, 0 death DK, 3 death Centaur, but I mean DM, the times that he died, it was just like he was just alone completely, and it's not like NIP got anything out of it. They got a Centaur kill into nothing. Yeah, it was like the whole team going on him. He was kind of just eating a perfect position for a gank. As the steal comes out, it's gonna actually be the exorcism again. Epileptic Kid not covering that at his best this game, but not really been mattering too much.
Let's see what they can do to stop him. Fortification comes to an end.
Those are the last 2 creeps that VPP has. Saberlight did cut the whole wave.
I mean, should be enough. Look at FN go to work.
Oh,
Level 22 Dragon, Mjolnir, Crystallis, BKB, he has it all. As he is just removing the racks from the game in front of them. You see the jump in from Saberlight, going for the backlines with the Rolling Thunder. Shiva's Guard is yours, he's up in the air. Still has the BKB and the Aegis to rely on Epic Kid, so no real threat to him whatsoever. They've finished off the melee racks. As you say, the creeps are now gone, but they got the big objective that they hoped for. They can move down towards the bottom, take the tier 2.
It's easy pickings for them. They got a lot of different options that they can go for here. They're actually just going to hold the high ground for a moment until they do back away and address.
FN's got a full Daedalus now too.
What?
It's like this guy's farm. It's just been insane. 20k net worth on the DK.
These are my DK builds that these are just the absolute like best ones. Like when you see the DKs when they have like Blink and like BKB and you know like AC or something, it's still like okay, it's pretty good. But this one where he's just like this force to be reckoned with, where you can't ignore the DK in the fights, he really pops off.
Hey, he does everything right. He tanks, he pushes towers, he destroys your heroes, he deals with the illusions.
He BKB slows, he pierces them like with the BKB piercing slow, and he starts focusing on your carry. Like he's really strong hero if he does get this farm, and that's why he has started to get a lot more popularity. And Supreme, speaking of popularity, they want him again.
Oh, are they gonna find him? Yes, they are. Not the smoothest Jules Hoovstomp combos, but I don't think it will matter at all. He'll go for the self-heals. He does have an orb, but will try and jump away. He's managing to break the gap a little bit, but save with another disruption into the root at the start of the phase shift. He's juking it out once more, but there's only so much he can do against 4 heroes. He will inevitably fall in the river.
FN on Era.
The same. Oh, 2 shots to Rubik. Because that's just how this game is right now. Unfortunately for NIP, and obviously fortunately so for VPP. They really did. I mean, honestly, I feel like you just have to go back to the draft, and I don't know if NIP maybe just struggled. They just ran out of ideas halfway through, but they just didn't have an answer to breaking away any of these this sort of combos that VPP have. This lineup from VPP, I don't think, if you ask them, I don't think they'd switch out any of these heroes for any of the heroes in the game. Like this is literally what VPP wanted to play.
No, they're literally like the perfect. They're some of the top heroes right now in the patch, right? It's the Death Prophet, the DK, the Centaur, the Shadow Demon. Like the Shadow Demon's banned, I think, all the games that I see, at least, because he just shuts down and prevents majority everything. I think same thing with Death Prophet for a lot of the games. Yeah, VPP looks like they got pretty much everything they wanted. They're cruising with it pretty nicely, looking to close out this game here.
Sableye is going to try for the lead. It does manage to find the rolling thunder. They go for the DK, getting down low. FP is getting hurt pretty bad by Charlie, but the BKBs are out. FN turns with the stun over towards Supreme. 3 shots and the puck is dead. Supreme gone without buyback. Swashbuckle along towards Ina. Does snap the Dream Cop, but he's still alive. They haven't been able to kill anyone off on VPP's side. 2 dead on NIP. The buyback will come out from Saberlight. Charlie trying to do his best, but with no BKB as it's on cooldown. He has very little to offer. The silence, the root. He gets nuked to oblivion, out of the game for a minute. Aggression from DM, jumping in on a Saberlight. He is dead for good. Die back on the Pangolier, and you can certainly imagine it coming out, and it does. It does indeed. 32 to 10, 24k lead for VPP. This was a rough one for NIP, and we've seen this lineup. We know NIP has a lot more to offer. I don't think they could do it with these heroes, Fog.
No, this draft seemed really difficult to play, pretty much. They didn't have good burst damage. The Death Prophet pick came, it was like the 3rd, 4th picks, right? This Oracle into
5 seconds.
It's teams and it's the mentality in the CIS. You burn a lot of bridges when you play in teams in CIS.
And not only that, like you have VP as the strongest team for a few years now, and it was really hard. You didn't really have captains, right, in the CIS, and we know that the CIS players, they don't know English that well, they don't communicate well with people from Europe, people from NA, so he is stuck in the region, and there is no one in VP who is not really going to be replaced. So I think that's actually the main problem.
Yeah, and it does feel like we also have the pool of new players has dried up recently. Do you guys feel this way?
But in CIS though,
really?
In CIS you can see a lot of new faces coming up. So
such as,
just look at VP. Just look at VP.PRODIGY. If these two youngsters that were picked up by Virtus.pro, I think it's about giving these new players a shot in a good team. Then they get a little bit of spotlight, get a little bit of respect from these older and more experienced players, and then they can form a team that actually works well together. I think that's the mix that you always need. You need one or two more experienced HR. Look at them, Roger, Funnick, and then 3 newsters.
I wish we had that luxury in NA. The up-and-coming star we've set our hopes on is this guy, Lil Nick, who is, I believe, 15 in like rank 700, but it's still like, you know, hey, this guy might have it. That's how far down the list we've got to look for new players.
I mean, 15 and he's ranked 700.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. I don't want to flame NA too much though, because we've had emails sent to our PR department. Why is Kyle so toxic against North America? And I would just state, well, have you watched the games? But enough about that region. We've got a semifinal on our hands. The draft has begun. Axe, Pango, Shadow Demon, the bands from NIP, Chen, Coddle, Bounty, Lycan from VP.PRODIGY. So no changes thus far. And I believe Mars, did that?
I mean, Shadow Demon obviously now has been banned out as well.
I think Mars was banned. Axe was banned. Pango.
Pango is obviously banned as well, which we saw in that last game. But overall, the concept of these heroes pretty much remained the same. The main hero is also banned out. The Bounty Hunter, coming from Virtus.pro-Prodigy. They don't want to play versus a hero that has 100% win rate on the side of NIP so far.
But with that kind of a lineup, and if you're gonna first pick Oracle, I guess you could do it. But still,
you don't. You just don't. You don't let them have Bounty. It's teams have tried Oracles. They've tried Lotus Orbs, Abaddons. It's just the way they play around.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you think, I actually like Bounty as a concept because it's another example of this hero that activates the rest of your lineup and your allies. So you get Charlie on a hero that helps Supreme get more gold in his game, and then they save the last pick for Supreme. It just fits too well.
By the way, the only way I hate Bounty Hunter, the only way I hate seeing him being played is on that position 4, like we saw today from Roger as well. If you're offlane with that hero, just maxed out that toss, deals so much damage. It's annoying to play against.
I swear, if you're an offlaner, all you got to do, I've gained a lot of MMR just copying Seb. And you can argue that maybe he makes mistakes here and there, like his Enigma performance in this event wasn't the best, but he knows his builds. Dude. And when he plays Bounty, he's going like 3 or 4 points Q with like 2 points W. So it's like 1, 2, 0 into like 4, 2, 1, 0, 1. It just sometimes skips invis completely.
Yeah. That's something I've been doing a lot as well, skipping invis. Saberlight does the same thing, but he maxes out the Janada a little bit more, like before the toss most of the games. And I can see that because you farm a little bit easier, it comes off cooldown quicker. You can also harass the lane a little bit better. It depends on the matchup. Sometimes toss is just so valuable though.
Keywords right there, depends on the matchup. I think that's something a lot of Dota players kind of, they follow the cookie cutter and they forget that you need different ones for the type of cookies you're making.
That's the most safe way to play it. Like if you're not a top tier player, just stick to what's in the meta and what you've seen work most of the times, because you're gonna be at a disadvantage if you think that you actually know the matchup and then you make a mistake multiple times.
I strongly disagree. I think you should try new things.
You should think about it.
Experiment, and then from that learn what you like and don't like.
The amount of times I was flamed, reported at the beginning of the games long time ago when I would build Skadi without a blink on Meepo, man. Behavior score F constantly.
Yeah, but you were you're a rank 1 player, right?
It doesn't matter.
I'm saying a 3K player learns the basics and then he experiments.
But
Guys,
we're not talking. Who's 3K watching in the stream? I've seen
all
Twitch
the
chatters.
Twitch chat is
No.
9K at
Okay,
least.
I'm
They're
sorry.
they're at least 7,000 MMR. You can ask them.
I didn't know that.
We've got Bristleback coming out. Really, really tough for these heroes like Oracle and Ember to take down. And already we see Nip totally shifting gears. A lot of beef on this lineup.
Yeah, they're actually doing something that VP.PRODIGY was doing in that first game. Right? They don't really have a lot of save, but they do have these 2 heroes that are extremely beefy, and now VP.PRODIGY need to figure out a way to cut through them. Ember with that Desolator build is kind of all right.
Yeah.
These 2 supports are very squishy, but so were the... What did they have? Oracle Shadow Demon in that first game? Pretty much similar.
It's interesting though, because I feel like, oh, whoa.
Oh,
That's, is that a Seneko Visage?
this could be a Supreme as
looks
well,
like.
right? Where did they play this Visage?
What is it,
I never saw
DP5?
them play Visage. I never saw them play Visage.
The last game I've seen Visage was on the offlane played by General, right? It was General playing offlane Visage, and it worked out. They won.
This is one of those, I see a lot of similarities between this meta and back at TI5 when CDEC was just kind of running around the map like crazy, and they loved their Visage. Wings was also a big fan.
Are we gonna see like an
similar
aggro
style.
lane with the Visage?
You know what I like about this Visage as well is the fact that now you're not, you can't only think about answering this Bristleback and the Dead Prophet. You have to find a way to answer the Visage now as well, which puts you on a little bit of a timer. And I'm not so sure about the Sand King and what he does here. It is a DM hero, and if he calls for Sand King, you just pick him Sand King.
Their style so far for him seems simple.
Yeah.
Pick me a stun, and DM
Plus
goes to stun
Grimstroke,
people.
right? You have Inkspell, you have Stun. That's a lot of initiation. With the Sandstorm, you're actually able to deal with layers of Visage too. So that's kind of good. But overall, it looks like a pretty decent Visage game so far. They don't have anything that you really worry about. If you're a Visage, the most annoying thing are heroes that build utility such as Crimson Guard.
Yeah.
That's something
So
you
something
really...
like a Sand King.
Thinking will buy.
I think he will buy it. Yeah, he should buy it. Is he a natural builder of Crimson Guard? He isn't, but
The
he can buy
the
it.
first time I saw DM play was in Aachen, and he was playing mid back then. They were really owning with Sand King mid. They don't get Sand King mid, they lose. They get Sand King mid, they win, and he would always go for these beefy items. And here he has 3 kind of a squishy heroes, so I feel like he needs to be the frontliner. So, do you really go for a blink here?
You don't have to. You can still go. I think Crimson Guard is definitely an option if the Visage is a core. And if you remember back then, though, when he was picking the Sand King, you have to remember that the items were different as well.
They were.
And you would go drums whale, you would be so tanky from the whale and drums that you wouldn't be able to die, right? It was you didn't even have to buy these Crimsons or whatnot. So it was a little bit different back then. They ban out the anti-mage or biggest counter pretty much in the laning stage, even though we have seen anti-mage fail here on the Pushka League versus
Even against Sand King,
yeah, versus Sand King.
It's a really wonky hero. It feels very hit or miss. And to your point, I like it a lot as this tankier frontliner because effectively you couldn't get Axe, you couldn't get Centaur, so they're looking to just replace this hero in their lineup, and they're going to make Sand King into a Centaur in a way. The concern I've got now for the lineup, though, is the pushing power. Firmly seems to be in the hands of NIP. Do you look for them to address that with more tower push of their own? Do you think they just need to double down on their mid-game team fight?
I think you just double down at this point, right? You have 4 heroes that are completely capable to take these team fights in the mid game, and you double down on that. You try to outplay them until you get those, like that Desolator, let's say, on Ember that will help you push. That's it. You address the lanes. You can't lose lanes in this game. If you lose them, it's going to be extremely difficult to come back. As with the Visage, the amount of push that they have, Visage, Dead Prophet, Bristleback frontlining.
There's just way too many heroes for you to actually think about only winning the laning stage because NIP's lineup is okay, that kind of solves against all of them, but they can move their lanes to whatever they like. They can even do some like aggro with the the Visage and the Bristleback, he just wraps up those quills and you get the Soul Assumption. So there is a lot of ways that NIP can play their lanes. I'm not sure that VP.PRODIGY can actually win the safe lane.
It's a shame NIP banned out that co-op as well. But I think the ban on the co-op gives it away that Visage is most likely at least envisioned mid. They wanted it as mid because Queen of Pain is one of your biggest counters in the laning stage at least.
And I will say, I am a huge fan of Visage. We've seen now, I think, 3 or 4 games in a row where both teams go for these double squishy supports duos. Visage just crushes them. You get a Grave Chill off and send the birds, and heroes like Rubik, like Coddle that we saw from Seagulls, they just feed. Same here with the Grimstroke and the Oracle.
Okay, they have a Sand King to actually protect them, so that's gonna help a bit. That's where I see his role. So he really needs to protect these supports. But I'm not sure how NIP...
The thing is, in this matchup, right, if you have a Sand King and he's protecting you against heroes because he likes to stun them as well at the same time, and then you can counterplay. But if there's Grave Chill and just the birds are killing you, he's not gonna waste that stun on. And look at this, like they just want to snowball. That's it. NIP, they have a pretty solid lineup. They did pick a last melee core, right, versus a Razor, if the Abaddon is melee even.
Support for all we know.
Yeah, they're very versatile, but the Razor should have a blast on any given lane.
A BKB Razor just completely uncountered thus far. I'd say the concern is just who on Prodigy is buying the Vessel. I agree the Deso Ember would be great, but someone's got to buy the Vessel. You might expect Ember. Yeah. It's a better draft from NIP, though, wouldn't you say?
I think it's weird. We don't actually know what they're gonna do, and I'm not sure how comfortable they are and how well they know this is gonna play out. You don't play this very often. Even if it's a scrim, you don't play drafts like this. Even if you do, they're never the same. So it's kind of hard to execute them. And if this was like a draft from something like a Secret, with a more experienced captain, I think that they could pull it off this way. I think that VP.PRODIGY is
gonna take... Saberlight play the Void Spirit last night. That's also an option. Who knows who's gonna play what?
NIP have 5 heroes that can play off. Okay, there's really no way to read into this. So just take your best guesses. Who's going to take the double?
I think it's going to be VP.PRODIGY because they have a draft that we know what it wants to do, and they're probably just going to snowball with it.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with NIP because they have a draft that we don't know what they're going to do, and it's going to be interesting if nothing else.
I appreciate it. Really just textbook way to break down that game, folks. Thank you very much for that. Without anything else from my panel, we're going to throw it over to the casters, where Odie, Pixel, and Fogged are once again ready to take into the action. Have at it, boys.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Yes, I mean, this game too, I think I've sort of got to agree with the panel, right, Fog? These drafts definitely looking a little closer than what we saw in game 1, right? NIP, they've got something that can work out.
Yes, but also I've never seen, I don't think I've seen a draft like NIP's where it's, I haven't seen a lot of, I mean, I know we used to have a couple games of Visage, but I haven't seen so much of it. But
sure,
they don't got a lot of, you know, ways to catch heroes and lock them down. They're playing versus an Ember Spirit and a Sand King, which can be pretty elusive and pretty annoying heroes. And their only real form of lockdown is going to be a Aether Remnant coming out from the Void Spirit and Visage Birds that drop and stun. So I mean, I'm looking at this Ember Spirit, and he looks like he's got a pretty free way to just jump and ping pong around inside the fights unless he gets caught by a remnant into like a silence or something like that. And he has a way to dispel things off from himself too with an Oracle. But that being said, NIP's draft, I'm just not sure what its potential could have because they do have good damage. I think that's one thing that Visage can always provide for you. And the same thing with like the Void Spirit, but is he gonna be able to do so? I'm not sure.
And looking at some of the lane setups, obviously, as the panel said, there was a lot of ways NIP could have laned this. They are going to have Saberlight playing the offlane Abaddon, Supreme in the mid lane on the DP, and Charlie playing the position 1 Bristleback, with both the Void Spirit and the Visage being your supports on NIP's side. So VP will start by taking the outpost, but yeah, we'll be interested to see. You know, sure, we have seen obviously some support Void Spirit. Obviously, Visage, though, on the other hand, is not really a hero that we just see that much at all. So it's definitely not the 2 most common of supports being played here by NIP. So certainly will be interesting to see what their plan is with these heroes together.
Yeah, that's the big thing is what I'm interested to see is like what their draft is going to do. Because when I see their drafted, if I see it like ball up as it's like a 5-man unit, like hitting towers and stuff like that, yeah, they've got some heal sustain. They've got a Visage kind of like, you know, sitting around with Death Prophet, lots of damage. But I feel like VPP, they've got one that just looks a little bit more traditional. They've got your traditional, like, you know, your stuns, your lockdown, your little like damage that you can ping pong in and out, a save. Just looks much more normal, like the panel was mentioning.
Transcends expectation.
Yeah, I mean, from the sort of two drafts I've seen today, I really like the way that VPP do just, you know, they just first pick the Oracle, because they obviously have multiple different drafts that they can play that allow this hero to be such an excellent backup behind. And looking at the lane setups to begin with, sort of across the board, are you seeing sort of any certain lane matchup that looks to be rather one-sided here?
DM could just die bottom. That's the one that I see, because he's got the goo and the Blightstone, so he's just gonna get hit. And the Soul Assumption actually gets targeted onto the Grimstroke, but I think they should be able to get the Mini with a couple more goos and hits, and they do. I like that Blightstone plus goo. So Blightstone on the Seneko and then goo on Charlie, and Sand is a very low armor hero. He's put negative immediately.
Yeah, I mean, he was instantly punished for that move in with the Sandstorm. Sentry placed in the trees, NRP more than ready for the laning off the Sand King. Looking at the other lanes, we'll see if Supreme has a bit of a better time in the mid lane this time round. Had a rough matchup against FN in game 1. Bit of sort of link on link action here. Link comes out, and Cypher's there in response, so may have stolen the damage, but he's going to take a little bit of a beating for it.
Yeah, I think Supreme should have a better time in this one.
Yeah, one of those heroes that
choosing.
Doesn't care too much about having his damage taken. He's got the alternate methods of securing those last hits with the Crypt Swarm.
Yeah, and he's always just got this nice, like, you know, that range on Death Prophet over a Razor is just great. That extra 125, you can always just beat on him while he's walking up and stuff too. Sure, Razor will get his last hits, but, you know, like I said, Supreme will do better in this matchup. Top, though, I do believe that, I mean, I feel like Ember should have a pretty okay time. I think Saberlight will also get good farm up here, though. Getting aggressive onto him, they can always just dispel, even potentially turn it. It's a double melee lane, so they have to be careful versus that Fortune's End at times.
Down bottom. Looking at the last hits, still been hard for DM to really get started down here. This first level of play, Charlie and Seneko with the sentry coverage too have made it hard for DM to sort of set up his ground and find a space to hold the lane in.
Yeah, the first
Charlie
two levels.
Gets free farm.
First 2 levels for Sand King are pretty atrocious. Like, if you get off to a bad start, it's just going to take you a bit. Once you're level 3, you're going to be able to farm and push the lane in consistently. But yeah, first 2 levels, you're one of the weaker, I guess, off-laners if we count him, because we don't see that much Sand King, right?
No, it's definitely not sort of the top, but we've seen it here and there.
Yeah, here and there.
And in terms of items for DM, you know, the panel was saying, you know, whether you are going to have some utility hero getting like the Crimson Guard online against, you know, the familiars, the right clicks from these heroes. Would you like to see that from DM, or do you think DM needs to get a blink for his lineup early?
They have the Ember at least to go in the back line. He might want to blink to follow him, but then also I'm also thinking, like, who's gonna? I think they were mentioning who's gonna be the Vessel buyer. I'm wondering maybe, like, what if DM just buys it for himself and then lets the Ember go for more of a damage build? I'm not sure. I think he has a couple options.
Top lane Ina getting caught by the tower there.
Yeah, very far.
That's a kill their way on the top lane in a lane that already Saberlight is fighting the farm, and Epi Kid, sure, he still is as well. The mid lane.
Gets the courier.
Gets the courier as well. All right, he'll die for his efforts, but he'll tell you that it's worth it. I mean, 44 gold each, times that by 5. That is more than the 193, so. In terms of the numbers,
literally worth it.
It counted bottom lane. I think that's what you're talking about. Level 3's there. He's got the 2 points to the Sandstorm. Then they're able to fight back. They move him with the Ink Swell.
It's an Echo.
See if they can get him too. Stroke of Fate. It's got a hit. He doesn't even need to use it. The right clicks will do it. So suddenly 3 heroes dropping dead all over the map for NIP. 2 down bottom and Saberlight up top.
And FN doing quite well in the mid lane. He's able to actually get some really nice links, even without boots, versus a boots Death Prophet. He actually got the boots early on Supreme, but he's still getting just linked way too much, like way too much damage, and FN's able to secure all these denies because of it.
Yeah, we're seeing pretty much half a level advantage to FN with the experience in this 1v1. Back down bottom, Charlie. And Seneko, they're getting split up a bit. It's 5-minute runes coming in. VPP doing their best to secure the ones down. In fact, they're going to look for the kill. Saves there with a lead Eden has the Inkswell stun onto Seneko. Burrow strike into that sandstorm. They'll have the damage to take this man down. Seneko will fall. Another kill for the 2 down here. Charlie will be able to move over and get that bounty rune back in on the mid. FN, it was a close one between the 2 of them, but he does indeed win that trade. There's suddenly these lanes that didn't have the worst of starts for NIP, this mid and bottom lane, they're beginning to crumble a little bit as VP.P are getting these kills.
Yeah, I feel like this one is just FN just outplaying, really. I mean, sure, he's got maybe a little bit of advantage in this matchup, perhaps, as a Razor, but I mean, even in comparison to that last game, too, like DK versus Puck, he just dominated the matchup. He's on a roll right now.
We'll see if
they're looking to try to shut him down.
Yeah, he is low FN. No regen, just the 2 Wraith Pads, but he's also playing it smart. Doesn't want to touch the wave. He'll head back, use the Eye of the Storm to farm a neutral camp. Most safer place to be. Knows that supports are off the map, and he doesn't want to be caught by this. Era's going to be able to protect that Arcane Rune for Supreme. He will have the active of it whilst he hits level 6, so should be able to get a nice reduced cooldown out with that first usage of the Exorcism if he wants to start poking at the tower.
Charlie has to be careful bottom. He's been sitting very low, and he can just get chain comboed up, and there's a decent amount of burst damage as we've seen from this. We see DM, he goes for just massive amounts of armor since he's playing versus all that minus armor at the start. And mid, there's that Exorcism. I believe it was after the Arcane Rune was gone, or it got dispelled, I think, by the... Yeah, it got dispelled by the Oracle.
Oracle took it off as soon as he saw it, yeah.
Okay.
But still, should be some good damage onto the mid tower here. With FN out of the lane, he walks back to base. We'll have a TP to return to it. 15 seconds to live the storm. We'll see if he wants to come and put together a defense. Will be on his own, though. He will come forward with the TP, still feeling very strong in himself. Era's around, but they've got this ward down, so they see Era in this position. Save's coming over. He might be able to connect with FN as this Eye of the Storm is available and try and find a fight off the back of this. He won't be able to connect with the Q, and in fact, Save, he's going to get turned on immediately, but the Inkswell stun will hit onto Supreme. FN leading in onto Supreme, and he'll bring him down before any sort of heals or save come out. As FN just continues to just blow heroes away in the mid lane. That's 2 kills back-to-back on the Death Prophet. Damage was done to VP.P's mid-tier 1 tower, but it's costing a lot of early momentum on this DP. 2 deaths now in the mid lane.
I love that suicide play there by Save, right? You're confident you're going to die in that situation there, but you're getting just such a good trade for FN. Level 8 now already. Kind of good look to be set up to having a great game as he did last time. Top Epileptic Kid and Saberlight have kind of been going at it a bit here in a 1v1, and meanwhile, I missed bottom.
Yeah, Seneko dying once more. Visage, it seems like this hero is beginning to struggle. This is 3 deaths on the Visage in this laning stage, both DM and Save. Anytime they get on top of him, the combo, it just tears him apart this early on very easily.
And they'll always get on top of him because that's the problem with Visage is you crawl. This hero has always been one of the biggest things that you can't move. If people get on top of you in the laning phase in particular, you're very squishy too because the build that you go for.
Top, they're diving in for Ina, and they'll find him. Saberlight will be fine as well. He's able to skill the 6. He's got the ult. And we'll tank the tower and step out of there. So a kill to be found, back towards mid. Snakeo's going to come in and support Supreme here with this push up. 20 seconds until Exorcism's ready. They want to try and commit it for this objective. Both Save and FN keeping themselves in the trees. Sort of checking out the situation. Snaker will be able to get in and get that ward down on the cliff.
Same thing as last game though. VP.P just always constantly addressing your mid tower. And they're even going to buff up FN heavily and he can go in.
Ooh, popping the Exorcism here. And in an attempt to fight back onto FN and they'll get him. They'll be able to pull it back with the Ether Remnant. Jump forward with the Resonant Pulse. Era's going to be able to nuke down a second. It's a double kill for Supreme. And they'll be able to turn it in style. Triple kill for the Death Prophet.
And
at this
tower.
time, yeah, VP.P make a bit of an awkward call. They try and jump him as the ghosts come out, but Supreme's able to turn and take down all 3 of them.
That's when Staneko's like, all right, you know, I may be a Visage, I may be slow, I may die, but for the greater cause. That's a real big swing there. They even get to go in, and I believe these wards, some of these wards are already aggressively placed down by Era, but he's able to get aggressively into the enemy jungle now and just kind of like, you know, pose a threat. Staying near the outpost, waiting for someone to try to steal it away.
GM will be able to balance it, get the Radiant one for themselves. So it will be 1 for 1 on the outpost. A minute in, as they're not quite able to get back towards this top one in time. The Save and DM, they're on the move towards mid. They were smoked.
Under attack.
Just get dispelled.
Radiant's middle tower is
And
under attack.
unlikely to be able to make that jump happen now, as both FN and Supreme keep themselves very safe. Supreme, of course, with a haste rune bottled up too, so
Bottom tower is
not an easy target to find. And obviously, other than those 2 deaths, just 5 kills on the DPs. Picking his game back up, you can see on the net worth, he's there at the top spot, Supreme. So much better time this game than he had in game 1.
Haste is the dream too. This is the perfect rune for him. He can get to any of the side lanes really quickly. He can also go to help his 2 supports that are looking to set up for something in the jungle. They're spotting FN.
See if Ewa can make the lead it. He's got 6. Quick jump forward with a step. The Remnant won't grab him though. Hits onto a creep instead. FN trying to escape and time's been bought for Epikid to come in. Jumps forward with the Remnant. They'll turn over towards Supreme. The false promise keeping FN safe as now Supreme. He's in trouble. The Siphons, they are healing him. In fact, he's not in trouble at all. Saberlight's in with the Aphotic Shield. Supreme will survive. DM goes in with the Burrow Strike onto Sineko. They'll take down the Visage. They'll lose their Ember in return. Epicenter is attempted by DM, but the Micro from Sineko with that Familiar holds him back with the stun. DM won't be able to close the gap. They do lose the birds, but definitely NIP, they are able to kill off the Ember and make sure they don't lose too many heroes themselves, getting Supreme out of there safely.
Definitely like their aggressive moves that they're making this time around, and they're giving a lot of space for Charlie to just farm up the items that he deems to be the best ones this game. Very good hood game if he wants to even... Actually, I don't know if he'll need to. I don't think he should go for the whole pipe yet. But if he does want to later on, maybe he can. But yeah, so much magic damage on VPP. That's going to be good to protect him. And if he wants to, for the Death Prophet.
Yeah, it looks like Saberlight's going to get the pipe.
He's going to do it. Okay.
Yeah. He's got also his hood done and dusted, so will suit him a little better and allow Charlie to go for something a bit more down the carry lines. That's bottom lane, Epikid. He's going to have a bit of a poke on him, but save is there. They'll actually go with the silence. There's a borrowed time up on Saberlight. They'll pop it, and they'll get out with that. Head back over to the creeps, keeping the efficiency high. Epikid and his itemization, the phase into and being that playmaking Ember build. A lot of space for FN to freely farm the camps as he wishes with the Eye of the Storm, get his core items online, go for the drums into BKB.
Such a good Vessel game. Bristleback, Abaddon, as well as that Death Prophet. That should be really nice if Epileptic is able to get that one set up. Like you said, DM going for Blink, so they can have some other form of initiation and catch up. But right now, NFP, like we mentioned earlier, they do have a strong draft if they're able to group up and play around it with their sustain. Right now, everyone's not here yet, though.
They know that there's no borrowed time. They're able to poke it out earlier by NIP's Steel on tower, so they'll move in, kill him off before it's online again. See if they can chase for more. Drums are popped. FN's in, close the gap onto Supreme, who's tried to stick around. He does have backup on its way, but are they going to be able to do anything to save him? It doesn't look like it at all. As Supreme will fall. The rest of NIP, they've just got to get out of it. Sineko will be able to run. They won't chase on for this VPP, so the rest of Ninjas in Pajamas will live for now.
Huh, interesting too, and like they pressed forward like they wanted to pressure the tower, right? And Charlie ran all the way top while he had a TP, and now as soon as he gets to top, he actually TP's bottom.
Era's going to try and jump in on this. He's held in place by the chain. Taves there with the wraparound. Era's going to be silenced or not. Dissimulate will dodge it, but FN slows him down with the Q. Another step away with the Astral. He's trying to escape, but now the Soul Bunny leaves the other two of them. They've lost more heroes as Saberlight. He's got borrowed time. He will live. But that whole sort of scenario spiraling out of control from NIP, just sort of going off that awkward timing that they pushed with. Yes, they had the Exorcism, but Saberlight, he didn't have borrowed time. He's without it for 20 seconds. He instantly gets focus taken out. Now behind the tower, Charlie's in trouble as well. The five of them surrounding the Bristle. TP's coming in. They'll rev it up. They got the damage to bring him down. He is tanking with the Aphotic Shield. He's still alive. Finally falls. The nuke come out with the Purifying Flames. Controls there for Snako onto FN, but the save's there for Mina. There's the False Promise. FN going for the TP out. They got any further cancel? They do not. Razor will live. Ina will throw himself back towards them, giving his life to allow the rest of VPP to get out back to safety as they take down Charlie and only lose the Oracle.
That was VPP just like sheer numbers, just taking the advantage over NIP. And NIP kind of trickled one by one, right? From the start where it was just Saberlight as well as Supreme in the front. Charlie, like I said, he was running top and he had his TP. He TP'd so late down bottom to join the rest of his buddies. And by that point, he was alone. They're able to isolate him on the tower. I think Ina, every time I've seen him actually with this Oracle, he always is able to get the False Promise into a healing salve on people too, as we saw there. He also has a shovel, which is like the best item on an Oracle. And yeah, they're playing really good as a unit. Again, now bottom, DM.
See if they can take down the Sand King here. Aina hasn't got a false promise available to help him out as DM will fall. They'll be able to nuke down the SK now. Could try and chase maybe for more. Snako, does he want to check it out with the birds? He won't. They won't dive past the tier 1. They'll just look to bring the creep wave round and try and finish off this objective as Supreme has got Ghosts ready to go once more. So just scouting out behind the tower, seeing if he can find any of these supports. They've got the wraparound on Aina. Aina seems to be in a fair bit of trouble as he's been silenced. He's able to purge it off. Is there any sort of help coming from him? It looks like his team may just let him fall. In fact, the heals are not. Okay. He will be able to walk away from the root free of them. Supreme was trying to stay on top of him, but Snako wasn't using the familiars to stay in, and Saberlight and Arrow weren't interested in diving. Now VPP can come back with a response. The ghosts are out, but VPP, they've now responded with a strong defense, and not much damage at all is going to be done with this exorcism. NIP's got to walk this one away.
VP with a good response, defending those towers, setting up well. NIP, I feel like when they have that exorcism pop, they really need to press the issue pretty hard, but it's scary when it's just the level 1 exorcism still. Like, Supreme is still only level 11. It's not as strong as it can be. And yeah, they're still scared of all of that burst damage. They don't have those, I mean, they have the shield, which is a pretty good save for the death prop, but it's nothing like an oracle.
No, so yeah, the sort of saves that Aina could come in have been massive. And now FN, he's got his Sand, she's going for the S and Y, just the full stats, tank it up build. And he's hitting some excellent timings. You see on the net worth, he's starting to make quite a lead for himself in that top spot as the Razor.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Finishing off that
play.
tower.
You know, you talk about the stat build, it's just straight mobility too, right? He's got the drums, he's gonna have S and Y, and he's got the brooch. So he's gonna be able to stick on targets pretty easily. And as we mentioned, limited disable on the side of NIP. So this Razor running at pretty fast movement speed, just cutting into the backlines, will definitely be a problem.
And they do not have their pipe complete on Saberlight, so that extra way is to protect themselves from the initiation of these sort of heavily magical damage-oriented heroes such as DM, who's now got the blink, so we'll be able to find those jumps in the fights. And Jules finally done from Supreme, so he himself also having a mechanism to save himself in these fights.
Still not keeping up in farm though. FN, he's just popping his Eye of Storm off cooldown every time and hitting Ancients, even a stacked one this time. You see he's almost 15.
Yeah.
Death Prophet just has hit 12 recently on Supreme, so he's really keeping himself ahead of the game, ahead of that curve.
Yeah, he's having a pretty incredible time here, FN. Yeah, 15 is it. He's got that extra damage now available with the increased amount stolen with the static link.
Yep, Epileptic Kid does have the Spirit Vessel now finished. He's going to be doubling back for a Maelstrom. And they want to already get some charges.
They're going to try and go on Charlie. Jump him with the epicenter to get in front of him. Is there any sort of help in time? They're trying to head over to save this Bristleback. He's falling low. Charlie still lives, finally falls. They've lost the Bristle. Lead forward from Supreme, but there's the save on a DM. False promise from Aina allows him to turn, get the Burrow Strike off. This Death Prophet's in so much trouble. Supreme, or is he? The side for the Sleight of Fist, they'll be able to keep him alive. This Ember won't get out. As Ember will fall, they turn up towards FN. They couldn't kill the DP in time. Supreme was able to keep himself alive with the Siphons. FN, he's got to run. They're down to just the 3 of them. Supreme's trying to chase. He'll have the Yules back up in a second. If he can close the gap and find a further setup, but FN and Save will manage to retreat back up to the high ground. And yeah, they're keeping their DP alive. And VPP, sure, they did manage to burst down Charlie at the start, but it really did take everything they had to take him out. And NIP were close enough to turn the fight around.
Absolutely. That was like exactly. They had to just spend way too many resources to actually bring him down. And yeah, the saves, the pipe coming into play there for sure, protecting Supreme just that little bit extra in order to get an extra shield and an extra heal off. And then they can turn that fight. With that exorcism, they're still quite strong, but without it now, VVP wants to make a play.
No, they do. Quickly eliminating Snako. They'll turn over towards Zera. Jumps with the Dissimulate into the trees. Epic Kids not got any more remnants, so won't be able to dive on. They can bring this mid lane in, start to push on to the tier 1 tower of NIP.
they're really starting to recognize and just identify the damage on NIP is pretty negligible. Without Exorcism, it's so hard for them to fight, and they can take advantage of that with this timing right now.
The grab onto Saberlight. See if they can poke out maybe the borrowed time. There's the pop. He's got the barrier protecting him. Fortification used as well. NIP will be able to push VP off the tower. Keeping it alive. Now Charlie trying to keep a lockdown onto DM, but DM will be able to step away. Error being focused by Epikid. He's able to juke out the Burrow Strike with that Dissimilate. Epikid turns towards Saberlight. They'll pop the borrowed tire. Looking over towards Snake. He's protected by the Aphotic Shield for now. He's clumsy net out. DM again saved just in time by Ana with that false promise, allowing him to turn with the Burrow Strike and this Epicenter to kill off Seneko. Saberlight still running forward. He has to be a little careful now without the borrowed time available. Chains onto Aaron. It didn't quite grab him. Aaron does manage to jump once more. He'll live, but NIP, they have lost two. Supreme and Charlie have got to be careful. Ghosts are available for Supreme. Charlie still staying on the front lines. He's going to be the focus. There'll be a buyback from Saberlight. Charlie getting melted pretty low. The save comes in from Saberlight, healing him back up with the Mist Coil and the Aphotic Shield.
What a disengage. That's it. Instantly as the Exorcism gets popped, everyone just full split, Delta split. Everybody goes to a different lane for the side of VPP to push them out. Perfect reaction to that coming out there. And the way that they actually played around the fight was pretty neat. Like Epileptic Kid is distracting the two supports on the back line while another fight's happening up near the two cores of VPP on the other side of the river. And yeah, just playing around that Exorcism cooldown. I think, yeah, they've completely identified now that the damage on NIP is just, there's just no damage without Exorcism.
Yeah, we'll see what they do now again with that 100 seconds where it's not online. How VPP is going to choose to play into it. Top Charlie. Just trying to get Epikid out of this area, but Epikid obviously not too much to worry about with that. Prepared defensively, he's closing in on the Maelstrom on top of the Spirit Vessel. Now seeing the net worth lead start to grow for VPP. 3k ahead, 20 to 13.
Now they're starting to actually be able to pressure the tower. Like we said, no Exorcism. This is their go time. They're always going to be looking for something. Era has another jump away. He's going to try for it, but gets picked off anyway from the slight.
Who decided this fate? My blades realized it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And what items do we have coming in for the rest of them? DM looking for that Lotus Orb. Again, just to have further ways of committing himself into the front of the fight without being worried too much about the instant focus from NIP's cores. Round towards mid, NIP. See if they can get any sort of catches. Very hard for them. Pretty much just the Yules into the silence is all they have on these heroes. And again, VPP
still fighting.
Backing off.
Yeah, and still fighting. It's like 20 seconds till Exorcism. You know that Prodigy, they have that timer. So right now they're like, okay, back up. Like Exorcism can be coming up. This a move I like. This kind of forces the hand of VPP. They now have to fight into Exorcism if NIP does pop it. There's quite a lot of spam that can come in though, and there's an epicenter burrow around a pit, which can be a bit scary.
And already NIP, they know this is risky. They need to ideally pop the Exorcism, find a kill, and then be able to move into the pit with the rest of the ult. See if that happens though. DM setting up in the trees, smoke's dispelled. There's got to throw the dust out. Silence as well. DM's got to break away. They're looking to try and take down Ina. Make sure the Oracle's not available for the fight, and they'll do so. It's a clean kill as there's no Oracle. Turning over to ward save. DM comes with the Burrow Strike and the Blink Off to protect save from the chase of the Familiars. P-Kid does his best to just cut the wave mid, stop them from being able to push on with it. But of course, NIP, they're more than happy with just looking for Roche. They'll head in, see if they want to full commit with the Exorcism. They're just going to do it without, by the looks of it, with the
they killed them so fast.
Yeah, they take this big boy down. As now with
and
the
saving Exorcism for the fight. I love it.
Now they can look for some serious objectives. Epi Runement's out. But now really is NIP's time to push. Once again, they've got everything that they need. Aegis as well, of course, on Supreme.
FN is pretty far up. He does port down to try to help him.
Has got the false promise if FN is too pressured. And NIP see already just breaking away from him, and they move towards the Oracle. Anytime they see Ina, they know that with him alive, he's always going to be able to protect his cause. They've got to try and get on top of him if they want to get the kills.
good window for NIP now to see how they want to actually take the fights and what they want to progress with this Aegis. I believe VP will mostly just push out the lanes before looking to try to take a fight. If they do take a fight, they're probably going to look to just get a pick off first. DM. Getting chased here.
See what they can do, Remnant. Won't find him. Stun as well, won't quite be there. They do, however, have the creeps pushing in on mid, so we'll surely want to try for something more. Still though, because of this sort of group up and go, the level difference just increases. Supreme level 15, whereas FN is just about to touch level 19 on his Razor. They managed to get themselves on top of DM. DM, he has been silenced. They'll force him to the side. If a Burrow Strike will get him out of there. The Familiar's turning their attention over towards Save. Charlie trying to dive, but it's into a tier 3. They've got to be a bit careful. The Soulbind linking the two of them. Borrowed time is out. Supreme wants to commit for this fight. Popping the Exorcism. DM comes in with the Epi though onto the two of them. Saberlight's got to be careful. Another shield will protect them. They turn the nuke down Epi Kid as the Ember. He dies in the midst of it all. Over-committing and no save available for him as there's no Ember. NIP are free to at least finish this tier 2. Let's see if they want to try and poke for more with the rest of this. FM being siphoned. He's very beefy though, also having the Hyperstone, so he has that extra potential to kick back. NIP, they're still trying to just stay on this high ground, do as much damage as they can to this tier 3 with the remainder of this ult, and they will be able to do about half HP of it. So tier 2 and a half a tower taken on the high ground. NIP definitely able to make a move with that Aegis, and of course still being able to protect it. So we'll see if they could do sort of another round of it when the ghosts are up once more.
Yeah, I like the way they surrounded the tower. You know, you're playing versus like a Grimstroke. You kind of have to pierce through the back lines. They're just going to keep spamming and pushed out. Charlie just dives forward to force a reaction out of Prodigy, and they do get that reaction. Exorcism is going to be on cooldown now for about 80 seconds, but like you said, some decent structural damage, and now they can pick up some nice items for themselves, in particular that BKB on the Death Prophet.
Just Epi Kid in that fight, just dying far too quickly. Obviously with his build, this vessel into the death, so it does hurt, but he is fully reliant on his supports and teammates being able to cover him. And when he dies that quickly in the front of it, surrounded by the 5 heroes, there's not really anything his teammates can do to help him.
Yeah. No Oracle ult available either. Had already used it on DM. They're gonna have a Lotus Orb on DM next, so they'll have at least a little bit more protection or ways to remove, in particular, like silences. But yeah, he really has to be careful of, I guess. I mean, I think the 8th Remnant was the one that clipped him in the last one that actually pulled him and got him killed. So he just needs to be a little wary, because there's not that crazy amount of disables that he does have to worry about still.
And again, any window where they know there's no Exorcism, they do not feel scared about coming over onto NIP's half of the map and farming what they can. AC complete on FN. So that next fight, as long as Epi Kid doesn't die at the beginning, the AC aura plus him coming in with the Desolator hits, some of these heroes on NIP are going to take huge amounts of physical burst.
Not really many with the most armor that I'm seeing either now. A 6 armor Death Prophet, 6 on Vadin, 3 and then 5 and change with your Gravekeepers and whatnot. Yeah, they're very low armor.
Yeah, it's only really the Bristle that's got anything against that sort of fight.
Still trying to waste time, it seems like. Prodigy, as we mentioned, not trying to take those head-on fights until that Aegis in particular is gone. About a minute left on that one. Exorcism is at the ready. If NIP tries to force the issue, as their lanes are in a pretty good spot. Saberlight's pushing in bottom, but the other two are quite nice.
And I found out this with the DP Supreme going for the Blink build after his Yule's BKB, rather than opting to maybe buy himself some more armor and focusing on just, I guess, getting to the back lines, getting that silence onto heroes such as the Oracle.
Like usually you see the DP blink with an Oracle on your team, right? Because you can blink the whole time during the ulti.
Yourself, right? Yeah.
He's got the shield, I guess. That's one thing that can. And yeah, I mean, maybe just a straight positional thing. If he can get a clutch silence off on some of these heroes, it is just so impactful. A blink and a silence in the back onto this Oracle. Oracle has no way to play around that. You have to like pre-cast your Fortune's End on yourself or something, right? To like dispel the silence instantly if Supreme does catch it. So if he's able to get that silence, he can stop the save completely. But he's still a ways away from it. He still could change if he even goes for that item, but we'll see.
They could, yeah. We could certainly see other things being explored. Push is coming again.
The issue forward.
Is the Aegis gone though? So they will not have that to rely on. NIP. It's tier 2. It's taken without any issues. Epileptic Kid just taking the towers up top, continuing to go full in on the physical. Crystalis is nearly done, so he really will hit hard as long as he doesn't overcommit and get caught by NIP. As this high ground push is coming in, they are going to have to respond soon for this Prodigy if they want to put a stop to this. There's the route onto Saberlight, jump forward from DM with the Burrow Strike, but he doesn't get the heroes, only the birds. FN has the static link onto Charlie, but Charlie will be able to break it. The Ghost now out for the Supreme. Using the spider legs to get into position, going onto the high ground to try and get to those back lines. Silence is available, gets it onto both DM and FN. The borrowed time is popped. DM getting nuke glow, the Soul Assumption will finish him off. They've killed off the Sand King. He'll buy back. That buyback seeming to be enough for NIP to think twice about pushing on for these racks. They'll lose the Visage as these hard hits from Epic Kid. They do come in. You've got to watch out for those sleight of fists. If he gets the crit, it's going to hurt. But Supreme runs in, again finding the supports, taking out Aina. FN slowing down Charlie with the plasma field. DM going in with the epicenter. With that pistol 2 on Charlie, he's falling down low. He's trying to run, but the Ink Swell will catch him. Zera, he won't be able to make it out either. Another kill from Epic Kid, getting these hits with the sleight of fist. These crits, they hurt, as they will hold VPP. They may have lost the tower, but they keep both the racks alive, and they kill off 4 members of NIP. Again, the push with the exorcism, it does a little, but it's not finishing off the objectives. They're not managing to take down these racks, and as this kind of slows down, and if Epic Kid's able to get an item on top of his Crystal, say he does want to get like a BKB for himself, this Ember and Razor's just going to tear through NIP's attempts at a push.
Yeah, it was what? I'm checking it right now. It was 6 Sleight of Fists in the last one. He did 6,000 damage. Razor did 6,000. And then it was 8 Stroke of Fates, which actually also came out from the Grimstroke, which was quite a bit. But yeah, they're really starting to punch through. And there's not a lot of armor, as we're mentioning. And he committed for the Blink Dagger on Supreme. So
I mean, it did save him then.
Armor.
It did save him then. He was able to blink away from the Ember. But yeah, we're interested to see, because yeah, he's got to make some incredible plays with this. Otherwise, it kind of feels like 2K down the drain. You know, you're not tanking yourself up. If they get on top of you, you're not likely to get the opportunity to blink out. And the shield, as you say, it's something, but there's so much damage coming out from VPP. You just get caught by a straight sleight of fist, and suddenly that shield just gets taken apart in one hit. Yeah, they're starting to recognize that too, though. I'm sure they did a little bit ago too. They've got the Vlads now at Saberlight. They've got the AC queued up and the Shiva's queued up. But for the next few moments, it might be painful with this minus armor. Blink Silence. That's the lead-in. Don't have quite enough follow-up after. No. But we're seeing the potential there. Yeah. Just managing to sort of punish the push. Well, as this happens, the wraparound's been made by VPP. They come in on the back lines. Supreme is going to pop the Ghost very ambitiously here. There's 5 heroes around. As FN, he's panicking. Oh, no. He tries to TP. He dies to the physical. And this is the problem, right? He pops the BKB. That's not going to protect you against this Razor and the Ember. They just kill you off very easily. That is Exorcism and a BKB charge down the drain for the Death Prophet. They just have like I said, they have like no armor, and they didn't, like, they're starting to address it, but it's already too much. It's already a big problem. He hits level 20 on Ember 2 and a Daedalus, so even more physical as they're gonna find Era. See if they can find Saberlight too. Trying to run, but he just doesn't have the heroes alive to help him out. Charlie's gonna come, he finishes the TP. Once most of his team are dead, he is tanky. He'll self-float as there'll be a buyback from Aaron in an attempt to help him. But even him, he's getting torn apart by these right clicks. He's dead as well. It's a 9K lead, and things are starting to crumble big time for NIP. And now maybe questions can be asked around the Blink Dagger pickup on the TP. They just don't have armor. These heroes are dying far too quickly right now. As you know, Epic getting away with this Deso Daedalus build because of the lack of lockdown. It's just destroying them. And FN, his game just continues to get better and better. He's pretty much got a full Skadi done, and he's level 23. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a pretty... Skadi also very good item, right? Versus Death Prophet, even better than it was in the past. And yeah, everything really seems to just have fallen together perfectly for VPP in the last few moments. And NIP, who had this, everything was working together for them. It seems like they have just hit a bit of that wall of VPP
And VP, like, their optimization is just, it's beautiful. They recognize it. They're like, there's no armor, right? That was their whole plan, because even with the medallion on the Sand King 2 going into Solar Crest, they're all just pumping up their armor and their negation of the armor versus NIP's craft.
I mean, playing sort of from this much behind for NIP's lineup, it's so hard, because at this stage of the game, it's like, well, who is their scaling carry, right? You have a position 1 Bristle that, for the most part, you know, Charlie's he's had to build pretty darn defensively. Lotus, Vanguard, Hood, a plate mail. They just don't do the damage. Meanwhile, you have Epikid sliding in and hitting like 1,200 damage crits on the slide. It's like, what is your answer to this? What do you have at this stage of the game against VPP's cause?
Pretty much. I think their whole, like we said, the whole plan around it really is they have to be a bundled 5-man unit and just get the push successful. But they have to play perfectly around the fight being pretty fast too, because they only have that duration of exorcism where they're actually powerful.
Supreme's going for it.
They're gonna try.
I mean, it's just the 2 of them. TPs are coming in. He'll put the BKB Supreme. I mean, he's got to run away from this. He's going to go for the TP out, and he will make it away. That's, boy, he's sort of dancing on death's doorstep there. He will survive. Rax, of course, also more than fine. VPP able to push them off in time.
Now there's no exorcism. Yeah, 2 minutes. Prodigy can kind of just push the lanes and look to take a fight immediately now.
It feels like sort of NIP are trying to grasp at straws now, trying to make something work out of nothing. And it's that's sort of the best attempts they have right now, sort of split them up, try and sneak in an exorcism push onto the racks, whilst hopefully for them, VPP don't realize, but of course VPP, they're not going to miss that. And now they're ready to run at you. They know there's nothing to be scared of. Saberlight, he's in trouble, shield's already been used. They'll have the borrowed time coming out in a second. But they'll be out the chase. We'll see how aggressive they want to play. Epiki just moving up to the high ground. He's got nothing to fear right now. The Sleight of Fist just destroys the Abaddon as Saberlight is gone. Creep waves. Charlie has managed to keep the top wave pushed all the way out. The mid lane is pushing in, though, against NIP. So VPP should be able to sweep over, start to bring this one up towards the high ground of NIP.
And they took the gem. I believe Saberlight had just picked up a few moments before that. They chased him super far into the base for that one. 30 seconds, no Abaddon, no real front line now, it seems. Charlie's going to try to be that front line, but as we've seen in this game so far, they can turn on him pretty quickly.
And trying to get a reaction out of FN. FN will now turn with the static link. DM. 2-man Poro Strike forcing out the BKB from Supreme. Supreme trying to turn with the Siphons, but he's got to be careful. This BKB duration is pretty low right now. FN just turns, hitting back hard with the Skadi. There's no BKB left on the Death Prophet. He's out of the game. 70 Supreme, no buyback. Jump in with the Poro Strike onto Era. Era torn apart too dead. They're moving for more, diving him past towards the tier 3s. It's getting to be all over right now for NIP as VPP. Their itemization, it just worked out perfectly this game. They knew exactly what had to be done. They abused the lack of armor on NIP's heroes. And NIP, they had the momentum at the start, but there was always that worry. If they didn't manage to close the game, get the high ground objectives before, say, 25 minutes or